Hello there! Welcome to another Relics of Hyrule video guide video. This one is about Kinolangdanzel, which is typically the first major dungeon that people take down. You can do them in any order, but Kinolangdanzel is usually the first. I am recording this narration after the video has been recorded, so if things don't line up, forgive me for that. Anyway, Kinolangdanzel. It is in the northern part of Skyrim, northwest, so right up here, and it sort of forms a triangle with Morwittershall in the south, which is in Falkreath, right down there, and then up northeast in Solstheim is Itnamsand, and they form a triangle, which is very fitting. You can do them in any order, like I said, but Kinolangdanzel is sometimes considered the easiest. Morwittershall and Kinolangdanzel about the same difficulty. But the Ancient Enchanter, that Forgotten Note, hints you to the location. It's a little inaccurate. It says it's north of the Arching City. It's actually northwest of Solitude and the College of Musicians. But there are hints to it in the Bard College in Solitude. Become the music. That's a hint of what you find in Kinolangdanzel. Anyway, so, Kinolangdanzel, the name is actually an acronym. So, an anagram. Sorry, it's an anagram. If it was an acronym, that's a long acronym. It's an anagram. And I'll give you the opportunity to figure that out once we get there. But yeah, Solitude, it's not north, it's northwest. If you follow the shore, you'll eventually find the Orphan's Tear right there, and an ice shrine. And the Orphan's Tear is a great landmark for Kinolangdanzel because there's something there that can help you get to Kinolangdanzel. So let's go there whenever my video self feels like it's necessary. I recommend being around level 15. I'm on novice difficulty. I used to recommend level 10. Kinolangdanzel is not an easy dungeon. It's definitely difficult. I'm level 12. I recommend 10 to 15, depending on the difficulty that you're doing. 20 would be really good. As long as you have the right skill and the right perks and stuff like that, you can pretty much take down Kinolangdanzel. It's not as harsh as it used to be, but there are some challenges. One of the mini-bosses is very challenging. Oh, good. Yeah, thanks, Archery Gameplay Overhaul. So we're going to take out some of the people at Orphan's Tear. You don't need to take them all out, but we're going to sort of plow through Orphan's Tear, and we're going to get on the boat. There's a little rowboat nearby, a little canoe. And there's Kinolangdanzel right there. So you could walk there if you wanted to. You could swim there. But I made it a little easier with the boat that's by the Orphan's Tear. So let's get in there. There's the ferry marking that boat. And we're going to snooch around the side here. There's somebody sitting at the campfire. There we go, Orphan's Tear. So there's a boat at here that goes Kinolangdanzel Tower. Very similar to how Castle Volkihar is set up. And when you arrive at Kinolangdanzel Tower, there's a few things right off the bat. There's the ferry. So there's two ferries. There's a pink ferry here, marking the legendary item inside, and there's a white ferry marking something else. So let's go take the white ferry first. Whenever you find a white ferry, directly below it is either a chest containing a tarnished shard or a route to a chest carrying a tarnished shard. So we're going to go straight down. There's a shipwreck underwater, and there's a safe and a chest. You want the safe. So there's the safe. And inside the safe is a Ring of Zora. There's also a Tarnished Shard, which is the most important thing. Tarnished Shard, Shard Note 15 of 24. There's a Sunken Journal, there's Mon, there's Ring of Zora. There's a lot of cool stuff down here. And there's a Shard Note found at the base of Kinolangdanzel Tower. And then Sunken Journal, which mentions Linebeck the 92nd. little tidbit there. Sand of Hours, always good, always useful, very vital. We got a Forgotten Sword, we got a Blue Rupee, we got the Mon, we got the Ring of Zora. The Ring of Zora is really good. You'll need that. And then the Heavy Hylian Guard Shield. This is actually a chest that does not respawn, so I'm going to dump some stuff in there for now. I'm going to take the Hylian Guard Shield because it's more useful than what I have. But yeah, I'm going to store some stuff in here because this chest does not respawn. I do need the Ring of Zora. You need something like that. Kinolangdanzel, not as much, but you will need water breathing for Relics of Hyrule, especially if you want to go to the Water Temple. The Water Temple requires that. I'm going to keep the Sword of the Sages. It's a useful item. And then Sunken Chest just has random loot in it. Nothing too crazy, nothing to call home about, but still very good. And okay, we're good. We're done here. We're going to leave. Alright. Kinolangdanzel was actually built as a lighthouse. It's meant to be a Dwemer lighthouse. So we'll actually be able to climb to the top. And we'll see some fun things up there. And by fun things, I mean a really frustrating, stupid person. Oh, there's a shooting star. That's from Wonders of Weather. That's a mod called Wonders of Weather. It adds things like rainbows and shooting stars. I guess I'm intransigated by this fairy. The fairies all mark different things, and oh, I hear the Falmer. Pink fairies are legendary items, for the most part. Alright, so we're gonna take out this numbnuts up here. How's it going? And badoosh! And there she goes. Good night, sweet prince. Okay. There's a chest here that we can't unlock. We need a key for it. And what a view. What a view that is. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. So we'll need to get a key. And the key is deep in Kinolangdanzel itself. So we'll get that key. Ow. Gotta heal myself because I fell. Alright, let's open up Kinolangdanzel Tower. There's the name, Kinolangdanzel. She doesn't really have anything too interesting. She's just normal stuff. That's from Dino's Spell Discovery, the ancient text. Okay, Kinolangdanzel, that name, it's an anagram. I'll tell you what the anagram is. I'll try to remember to tell you what the anagram is later in the dungeon. But yeah, so here's the inside. Nothing really that interesting in here. I think I'm going to take my torches and favorite them so that they're easy to access. You will need torches in here. Or you don't. Whatever you want. Alright, so we're descending into the upper dungeon. So-called upper dungeon. That used to be an unofficial name, but now it's official because of the archive. Once the Hall of Memories comes out in 6.6.2. Okay, so we're inside the upper dungeon of Kinolangdanzel. There's the name again. See if you can figure out what it's an anagram of. And there's a few ways to go. We could go straight, we could go back this way. So let's go back this way. There are arrows. There's a gold Skulltula in here. The torches are new. This is actually the way it's been for a while. The torches are relatively new. I'm going to kill that gold Skulltula. Always a token, and then this dresser is actually safe storage because that songbook doesn't respawn. As far as I know. Actually, maybe the dresser does respawn. Don't quote me on that. The chest outside, that safe outside, that definitely does not respawn. And then there's a bow in here as well. If you find it, you gotta search around for a dwarven bow by the beds, kind of floating around. I find it eventually. I know I do. There it is. So that's a guaranteed dwarven bow. Always enchanted, too. And then you can take the torches. Every so often I kind of rework some of the dungeons, and Kinolangdanzel got a good rework relatively recently to make it more interesting. So now we got Stall Children. Very nice. And they carry Armos weapons, typically forgotten weapons. They have Hylian Scout helmets there. That Armos battle axe is actually pretty good. So I think I gotta take that. This is better than what I had. Oh, a Deku shield. That's cool. And we got Forgotten Hammers, Hylian Scout helmet. Pretty standard stuff that we find. Sometimes they'll be carrying Hylian shields, very rarely. Stall troops typically carry that. There's the light switch that doesn't work. Some of the light switches work. That one does not. And here's a... what am I looking at? I don't know why I'm looking around. Okay. Chest. The chest is important because that has the small key. What am I doing? Why am I just looking around? I must be talking about the atmosphere. I don't know. There's the small key. That's important. And they're all numbered, so that's small key number 1. And small keys always, very, 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 very often, will open doors inside the dungeon that you found them in, just like in Legend of Zelda. So you typically need to take a small key anywhere else but inside the dungeon. Oh, Stallhound. Good old Stallhound. And Stallhounds, we got Stalfos Fang. No, Stalfos Bone Meal, we got Stallhound Fang. That's what you find in a Stallhound. And they have random other loot. I might do something with the dog collars to make it so you can, like, summon a Stallhound permanently or something like that. Or, like, a Stallhound pet. That would be kind of fun. Alright. This area is actually new-ish. It used to be that you had to go through the caved-in area and go straight here, but now it's a little different. So now we got the Skulltulas. So there's the way that you would normally come in, but it's caved in. I missed that gold Skulltula. That's okay. We're going to take out these Skulltulas. We got white Skulltulas. White Skulltulas are unique from gold normal Skulltulas. The white Skulltulas have slightly stronger chitin than normal Skulltulas. So you can make white Skulltula chitin armor from them. Yeah, so you can see the difference here. White Skulltulas are kind of... They're more common on Solstheim, but they're kind of like a regional variant of the Skulltulas. There's the white Skulltula chitin that I was talking about. White gold Skulltula chitin is like the creme de la creme. That makes the best armor. There we go, white Skulltula chitin. And then got gold Skulltula, also always with the token, sometimes with the chitin. You'll always find the token, but sometimes you'll find the chitin. And then one of these desiccated corpses, typically over here, in this corner, there's the light switch that works. There we go. Old desiccated corpse has Kinolangdanzel small key number 2. Typically over in that area. Small key number 2 actually doesn't open any doors, it opens a bonus chest. And there's always a sample of Skin of Redead over here. And there's always bones with a bow. And small key number 1 actually opens this big door right here. Once I'm done looking around, there's a torch. I really like Kinolangdanzel. It was the first dungeon I ever made, and it turned out surprisingly well. I'm looking at all these nooks because I always hide things there. But yeah, it turned out really, really well. Alright, so we opened up that door with Kinolangdanzel key 1. Cutting through that guff, and then it used to be you went that way into the next room, but it's been caved in. So we're going to go through here, which I really like this area. I'm really proud of how this turned out. Sort of this collapsed side that you kind of go down, and then you find these friends. We're going to turn on the lights first. There's a skeleton, and there's the Stallchild. You can see the Stallchild sometimes doesn't have a jaw. That's one way to tell the difference between a Stallchild and a skeleton. Stall children will sometimes be missing their lower jaw, and they also have white bones as opposed to sort of the yellow bones. What the heck? My computer just kind of like... Oh yeah, so there's a skeleton. You can see the yellowish bones of the skeleton. And then there's the white bones of the Stallchild. There's also kind of cracks in the Stallchild bones. There's the Stallchild torso, and there's the skeleton torso. You can see the difference. Yellow bones versus white bones. Very subtle. Not that you need to tell the difference between Stallchildren and skeletons. But in case you're ever curious... Ooh, an Armos bow +1. That's a good find. Those are decent. That's better than what I have. So we're gonna switch to that as our main bow. And Armos arrows. Obviously, Armos weapons are based on Stalrim. And then there's this, which at first glance it looks like you can't climb it, but you actually can climb it. If you have the Eye of Truth spell, it'll actually show you that there's a little Sheikah symbol. So that's telling you, climb this thing. There it is again. My magicka's low, of course, because this guy doesn't have any magicka. So I'm going to switch to the Lens of Truth shield, which took me forever to figure out. There we go. Highly recommend, although once you can't use the Lens of Truth the first time through, because the thing that you get in Kinolangdanzel is the thing that you use to get to the Lens of Truth in the first place. But if you have the Lens of Truth on your second run, you can use it to get through. Also, yeah, this is how you climb that steep slope. You gotta sort of shimmy back and forth. There's some Great Fairy's Tears up here. There's some random loot. Ooh, Mon. That's useful. Random loot. But yeah, the Lens of Truth. You'll have to come back through Kinolangdanzel once you get it. That way you can look at all this cool stuff. And then up here, we have Healing Potion and another Falmer with Falmer orders. So it could be that the wizard was like, I'll stay and guard at this chest. You go in and get the item. And then... So they are tasked with finding an item in the Dwemer Ruins north of our embassy. And they're saying that the artifact must be forgotten, let the past die, kill it if you have to. That is, of course, a reference to the best Star Wars movie ever made. The idea is the Falmer are infiltrating these areas that have Hylian artifacts because they don't want people to think that the Eldmeri Dominion isn't as strong as it is. if you find out about these ancient elves, the Hylians, who may or may not have been elves, I don't want to make those connections. But the Aldmeri Dominion is concerned because if people find the Relics of Hyrule, they'll be like, well, the Hylians were way cooler than the Altmer, and they don't want that because, you know, the Aldmeri Dominion is obsessed with narcissism. There's a piece of heart right back here. So there's the chest, and if you go back sort of along the wall, first of all, this chest opens with Kinolangdanzel Key 2. There's not that much there, but there's this piece of heart. You can find 4 pieces of heart in Kinolangdanzel. There's Kinolangdanzel Key 3, and that opens this door. And we have some more friends. What fun. That Stalfo was carrying a 2-handed weapon. It's pretty cool. There's some leakage going on down here. There's some light coming from nowhere. Seems like it's like bouncing from one... I think it's bouncing. I think the idea is that it's bouncing from there. So there's no lamp there, but it's kind of like bouncing light from that lamp up there. Down there, I mean. There's a chest. Ooh, a red kinstone. Those are cool. Kinstones are nice. Kinstones are tight. Ooh, yeah. And they're all color-coded, so if you find 2 red kinstones, that'll give you a weapon. Get out of here. Don't want your stuff. Ooh, that one had an axe. Oh. They're also terrible aim, apparently. They're like stormtroopers. Alright. Well, that was easy. Armos War Axe. Really cool. I really like the Armos War Axe. Always taking the arrows. And then this is where things get a little tricky. So, in this room, we have a lot of undead. There's a Poe right there. And there's a Stallchild. But there is also probably one of the most annoying enemies in the mod. Oh, there's a faulty dagger. The faulty dagger is wielded like a sword. One of these switches turns on the lights, but there's a Redead. The Redeads are really frustrating. Case in point. People have complained about the Redeads, and I say you're welcome. And people have said I love the Redeads, and I say you're welcome. They are criticism-proof. That scream is actually someone yelling in a hangar. But it fits so well for them. And Redeads will actually pick up items off the ground to fight you with, and they absorb health 10 points at a time. But yeah, so that Redead picked up that faulty dagger. And they carry burial masks. It says that the screams of the dead are muffled. Not silenced, they're muffled. So when you wear a burial mask, the time that you're paralyzed for after a Redead screams at you will be lessened. So it's not a guarantee. Like, you're not gonna never be paralyzed. The best course of action for that is spell absorption. And if you see a Redead, kill it before it can hit you. Those are the only strategies with Redeads. There's only so much that you can do. But yeah, so right next to the spell tome, that lever, that opens that up. And we have the Argonian here. And the Argonian, oh, that's from Artifacts of Ultima, the Magician's Wand. That is from Artifacts of Ultima, which is another mod. Same with the Curved Heater. And this is by Walt Whitman, I think. They're waxing poetic in their insanity. The idea is that Kinolangdanzel has made them go insane. This failed adventuring party. Oh, there's a Stalfos. He's coming for us. He has a unique sword. And actually in version 6.6.2, we're going to get new Stalfos weapons. Man, Redeads are tough. This one's really tough, jeez. Wow. But yeah, you could see that it was absorbing health every time it hit me. And they scream once they're aware of you. So, like, you almost never know where... like, you can see a Redead barreling down on you, but sometimes you'll just get surprised, and you don't know where it is. There's a Stalfos Greatsword. It's a blown-up dagger. It'll probably get replaced. And there's another Stalfos sword that is being replaced soon. Okay, so in this room, there are some secret items. Check all the coffins, because you might find something cool. Like this one has a sacred shield in it. Very nice, very cool. Love to see it. And I'm going to store some stuff in here because this chest won't respawn. Unless it does. And there's this coffin here, of course, that has the sacred shield. But then there's coffin over here that has Great Fairy's Tears. There's another coffin that has Gold Skulltula token. And they're all sort of relatively close together. They're all sort of in that back half. And the Lens of Truth actually reveals something here. There he is. He's the Argonian Ghost. So if you have the Lens of Truth, you'll actually reveal the ghosts of all these failed adventurers. Very cool. Need something? So there's the Argonian again. He's just looking. He's there to hint where the fancy chests are. So we're gonna continue on. This is where the Stalfos came from. There's a Skulltula. Sometimes you'll get lucky enough, and the Stalfos will crawl out of that pile of dirt. You never know. Worth a shot. More of these guys. There's a chest. Ooh, a blue kinstone. That's nice. Blue kinstones in general, all kinstones have an equal chance of appearing, and they will appear with rupee loot, so there's always a chance that a rupee will be a kinstone. You can see how Kinolangdanzel used to be a little repetitive, in the way that, like, it... I got distracted by the gesturing around the Hylian Knight Shield, but you can see how it could have been repetitive back in the day, like hall, 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 door, door, door. It was just kind of repetitive, so I reworked it. I think the reason why I was showing you the Hylian Guard Shield is to illustrate that it's the Ocarina of Time design versus the Twilight Princess design. So the Hylian Guard Shield is Ocarina of Time, and that's new for Relics of Hyrule. And then the original shield was based on Twilight Princess. There's a Redead that I'm trying to kill. There we go. Skulltula. I am able to jump and shoot at the same time because of combat gameplay overhaul. And the health meters are from True Directional Movement. True Directional Movement. That's a mod. Okay, so that's all well and good. Lens of Truth to show the warrior's ghost. There's a warrior's ghost, and he's providing a hint there. And there's the knapsack, and Skulltula died on top of him. So there he is. And there's his knapsack. There's the fourth key. He also has a poem that I show you later in the video because I forgot about it. So then I backtrack and I show you. And there's the battle hammer from Artifacts of Ultima. And there's a Gossip Stone. If you have the Mask of Truth, you can talk to the Gossip Stone, and it'll give you hints. There's the warrior again, and he's staring in that direction because there's a piece of heart right here. So that's 2 so far. And there's a pickaxe, that's fun. And the stairs kind of imply that someone else was here, that somebody built some stairs after this area collapsed. There's money and then a gray gem. Those are really useful. Guaranteed gray gem. And then we get here. So this area kind of trips people up sometimes. Not because of any of this. It's easy to get through this area, but there's a white fairy right there. Now, directly below every white fairy is a container with a shard. So then people see this and they're like, oh, I need the Song of Time. You don't actually need the Song of Time to get this shard. It's actually right next to it. And the name, Hardy Strongbox, that's a hint as to what kind of shard it is. And this was actually the first ever tarnished shard that I added to Relics of Hyrule. So, I forget if it was the first version of Kinolangdanzel, but one of the earlier versions I added the shard because I knew I was going to add the Triforce at some point. So, then you can swim back up, but wait, what about the Block of Time? Well, if you happen to come back after you get the Song of Time, and you have the Ocarina of Time, you can play the Song of Time, and that will disable the Block of Time. And inside that chest is just random junk. Bombs, rupees, Deku Nuts. So it's not super great, but it is a good sort of extra thing. Okay, so we're going to pop back up, and we're going to continue on our merry way. Here's the ramp to get you out of the water. This is where things get a little tough. There's a chew right there. If you crouch, you can grab the chew. Otherwise, it explodes in your face. And then, whenever you find Falmer, always loot them, because there's always a chance that they'll have a Ocarina Songbook page. So here's some dead Falmer floating in the water. I really like this section, because the corpses of the Falmer just floating in the water. There's something about that that's just kind of eerie. And you don't find any living. Well, you find one living Falmer, but most of the Falmer are dead, which implies that they were killed. Oh, I gotta fix that. Implies that they were killed by the creatures that are in Kinolangdanzel. I think I swim back just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I didn't miss anything. So here we are again. And we're going to continue on up this way. There's some Blister Ward that's good for healing potions. And then there's a... Right there is some Great Fairy's Tears. It's really hard to get. I recommend using Telekinesis. There's no hints to speak of. I recommend using Telekinesis. If you shoot it, doesn't really work. You could hit something from behind, maybe, and try to blast it out, but Telekinesis would be the best option. So I lost that Great Fairy's Tears. At some point I might be able to grab it again. But that's not important, because this character is just here for showing us what we need, or what we can do, what we need to do in these areas. I'm going to level up real quick, because there's a bad boy in the next section. Okay. Here's the bad boy. It's a Wolfos. With Wolfos, they have a Frost Breath shout, so you want to get out of the way of that. And then you can take him down, but he hits pretty hard. And there's some White Wolfos pelt. You can use that to make leather. And then there's the Falmer, living Falmer. He actually used to be a recruitable. You could actually recruit him as a follower, but I got rid of that because it was kind of buggy. And there's a Bokoblin. And I wanted to take out that Bokoblin fast because she had a bomb flower, and those are tough. Ooh, a Lilian Mace. Lilian Maces are cool. I like how they turned out. So now we're going to go deeper in here. And there's some Falmer chests. There's something from my Circlet Helms mod. Some healing potions, decent stuff. And then that's from Coin Replacer Redux. That too. And then right here, some gold dust, which you need for the Terminant, the Gilded Sword. Right there. And then there's another chest with some random stuff. And the Corundum ore is useful for Armos weapons. And then behind it is Dark Essence. Guaranteed Dark Essence. So, we're going to move on, and we're going to reach the mini-boss of this area. First, we have to face a Redead. So here's the Redead. Oh, I almost got her. I almost staggered her with that power attack. There we go. They're dead. She had a yellow rupee. That's nice. There's some moonstone on the walls right here. And then there's also dwarven stuff. Full set of dwarven armor. Which I'm actually going to take for this character. And then there's also some dwarven bows. I'm going to put that on. The helmet is not actually better. For some reason it's telling me it's better. There's a Dwarven Bow of Despair. And then there's the chest. Oh, they're both Dwarven Bows of Despair. That's nice. There's a chest right here. At some point I'll look at the chest. Tarnished chest. That's telling you that it's important. And there's a tower key inside. That is the key that opens the chest at the top of Kinolangdanzel Tower. So you could just grab it and then just go. There's also arrows in that chest. But you can also complete your adventure through Kinolangdanzel. Now, the next character that you fight is very, very tricky. He's a Darknut, and he's level 40. I'm going to pare that down for 6.6.2, because this guy's a mini-boss, and he's actually higher level. He's higher level than the other mini-boss Darknut that's in Kinolangdanzel. Trying to get a hold on him with more informative console. But there he is. For a split second we got him. Level 40. Level 40. He does not need to be level 40. I'm gonna try to make him level 30, and then the one that's deeper in I'll make level 40. Or something like that. Or maybe this one will be 20, and then the one later will be 30. Or maybe they'll level with you. I don't know. But this guy does not need to be level 40. So, strategies here. Try to use arrows, try to use ranged attacks. He is technically a vampire, so you can use fire and things like that. And he moves faster than you would expect. So, we're almost done with him. There we go, he did. And then he has some really good armor. So we're going to take all that armor. There's a small depths key, that's the most important thing. Take some of that armor. I'm going to redesign the Darknut shields at some point, and the Darknut equipment will get redesigned. At some point. It's not a huge priority, but it will get redesigned at some point. I also will, at some point... I want to add Darknut duelists, which are light armor Darknuts, similar to like in Twilight Princess when you get rid of their armor, the Darknuts turn into like quick boys. So at some point I'm gonna add that, but things take time. It always takes a long time for me to get anything done with Relics of Hyrule because I have a full-time job. Relics of Hyrule is my hobby. there's only so much I can do with it in any given time. So it takes time. So I appreciate your patience. Especially as I'm rooting around in my stupid inventory during an instructional video. Come on. There's no need of any of this. Trying to figure out my inventory. It's not necessary. Okay. Are we done? Okay, good. Okay, so we're gonna get through here very slowly. There's the wood elf, and there's her ghost, and she's looking at one of the edges. And her purpose there is double. She has gold dust, which is important, but she also has a scout journal, and this one is by Lewis Carroll. That's a poem by Lewis Carroll. And then what she was looking at was this burial mask, which is A, telling you the burial mask is there, but also telling you to check the walls, to always check these little nooks where there should be pipes, but there aren't. Always check those, because there might be some secrets. There was some corundum, and then here's a door, and there's a Poe and a skeleton. And take out the Poe. You can harvest Poe souls from their torches. And there's a chest with some random junk in it. But you have to go to Ancient Enchanter, I think, to do that. Or no, Infusion Altar. One of those. And then there's the Embalming Pick. That's from Wield Clutter. Another award-winning mod from me. And by award-winning, I mean dozens of people have downloaded it. Okay, so we're done with Kinolangdanzel's upper dungeon. And here's the door to Kinolangdanzel Depths. However, I didn't show you the Warrior's Journal. So we're going to turn back and we're going to get the Warrior's Journal really quick. Fortunately, it won't take long to do that. Just going to backtrack a little bit. Double checking to make sure I don't have it, and I don't. So, real quick backtracking. Okay, so the acronym. Anagram. The anagram. While we're doing this, the anagram, Kinolangdanzel. If you put all those letters together and rearrange them, then you get 3 separate words. You get Link, you get Ganon, and you get Zelda. So Kinolangdanzel is an anagram of Link, Ganon, and Zelda, which is very fitting. All three major dungeons are anagrams that are designed to sound like Dwemer or Ancient Nord names. So Morwidijal and Itnamzand are also anagrams. And then there's the Warrior's Journal by Emily Bronte. So now that we've read the Warrior's Journal, I'm going to cut. Okay, Kinolangdanzel Depths. We just cleared out all of this. We read the Warrior's Journal. Kinolangdanzel Depths, the name actually is inspired by Mizinchalev Depths. I really like that name, Depths. And Kinolangdanzel Depths is shorter, but it's harder. And I'll show you all the nuances there. Here is a chest with some stuff in it. There's a lot of healing potion in Kinolangdanzel Depths. So, definitely worth that. That is from, the models there are from, I think it's called Awesome Potions or something like that. I really like how the potions look. I can't play the game without them. They look so good. And this, oh man. So that, when I made Sand God Passage for the Spirit Temple, I added that. And I was like, this is too good. I'm going to add it to Kinolangdanzel. So I'm really happy with that. There's a stall troop down there, first stall troop of the dungeon. And some other stuff. What was it? Stall child. There we go. And stall troops will sometimes carry Hylian shields. And they'll sometimes carry Hylian knight shields. And I think the one that I just killed has a Hylian knight's shield, which is based on something from Hyrule Warriors. Don't expect too much Hyrule Warriors stuff, because it's a spin-off, it's not a main series title, it's not a priority, and I also don't like it. So, don't expect too much from Hyrule Warriors in Relics of Hyrule. Especially Age of Calamity. But there's another Forgotten Dagger. The reason why these exist, the faulty ones, is because skeletons and Draugr and anything that uses those animations, Falmer have their own animations. They can't use normal daggers. It'll just stick to their feet. So I had to make the faulty dagger that's wielded as a sword so you could change it into a sword. And it's just... yeah. And there's a Stalfos looking down. So we're going to kill that. You can see some shimmering in this room. That shimmering is actually flammable gas. And then the Redead is going to find me soon. There it is. So the Redead can't see me, but it knows I'm here, and so it's going to scream. And it can only paralyze one person at a time. Anyone it's aware of. Any specific one person. So followers are great, summons are great when fighting Redeads, because Redeads will sometimes target them, and you don't get hurt. Armos Sword, Armos Shield, haven't seen one of those yet. There's also the Armos Targe, which is a round shield. And Stalfos will get new shields as well. In 6.6.3. More dead Falmer. Oh, there's the fire. There's the fire. And you can see some shimmering up there, and I'm going to try to hit it with some flames up by the lamp. The idea is that the lamp is leaking, and so there's flammable gas up there. So I'm going to try to hit it. There we go. Okay, so this pool, there's a chew. If you're careful, you can get that chew. And then there might also be a heart piece in here. I look for it, but I can't actually find it. I remember putting one here. It may have gotten knocked around. I may have also removed it. There used to be a piece of heart here. I just don't know what happened to it. I may have gotten rid of it. You can see me looking around. That crazy J. Callahan always hiding things in hard to find places. I got messed up by that chew. Oh, man. So yeah. If you can find that piece of heart, congratulations. You're smarter than me. I can't keep track of every little thing that I've put into the mod. Okay. Giving up. We're going to progress further. Getting rid of that flammable gas. There we go. And there's Stall Child. Oh no, that's a skeleton. And then further in, there's a new enemy. Excuse me? The new enemy is Hay Fever. And we have a frozen screen for a moment. Hello? There we go. There's a Hylian Ghost. They used to be called Hylian Ghosts. They are now Forgotten Ghosts. And we're going to take that one out. That's a scout, so they'll have tunics. And there's also a Redead in here. There's a Stall Troop. Stall Troops take very little effort. That roll is from Combat Gameplay Overhaul. There's the Redead, right in the crotch. Ah! I was paralyzed and you still missed. Really bad eyesight on that Redead. The shield that the Stalfos is carrying, that Banded Iron Shield, is actually unique. It is not a normal Banded Iron Shield. It's actually its own item. It's actually stronger than a normal one. That is being replaced with the Stalfos Shield in 6.6.2. So if you have any of those in your shield, I mean in your inventory, those Oreo shields as I call them, if you have any of them, they will be replaced. So don't be alarmed if suddenly your Banded Iron Shield changes into a Stolfo shield. That is intentional. Skyloft Wooden Shield, very good. Forgotten Hammer turned out really well. Okay. There's the tent with some stuff in it. Britannian longbows from Artifacts of Ultima. And then over here is another sample of gold dust. So this is actually 3 samples now. You can get all 3 in Kinolangdanzel. And you can reforge the Razor Sword. And here's what this Forgotten Scout had. Very common will have Scout Tunic, which is unenchanted, and other stuff. This one, pretty good stuff. Got the Dark Circlet and Faulty Hylian, Forgotten Dagger, Faulty Forgotten Dagger. Pretty good stuff. There's the Guard Shield again. There's a heavy version and a light version. And that one had a heavy version. Okay. Continuing on. We're actually getting really close to the end because right here is the mini-boss Gauntlet. So, here's some more stuff. Kite Shield from Artifacts of Ultima. This is another Scout, another Forgotten Scout. We're going to get a closer look at them. They have a longbow, which I should replace. But yeah, they're wearing standard tunics. They have hats, which kill hair. And I am very aware that they kill hair. There's nothing I can do about it. So please don't bother me about the hats. Boop. Did a barrel roll. There's a normal Hylian shield. That one's based on Twilight Princess. That is the original Relics of Hyrule Hylian shield. It is not too small. It's the perfect size. There's a blue tunic, which is unenchanted. It's a little stronger than a normal one. And then way at the distance you can see one of the Nameless. It's a floating skull flying around. I'm going to get a closer look on that. So, the Nameless right here. I called them Nameless because I wasn't going to call them Bubbles. But that uses Ice Wraith animations, and they go around in circles just like Bubbles. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's just a skull rigged to a Ice Wraith animation skeleton. So we're going to try to take it out. What's interesting about them is they explode as soon as you kill them. Unlike, say, a Flame Atronach that has a delay, a Nameless will explode instantly. Boom. Right away. Exploded instantly. Got some stall children I'm going to take out. This one's having trouble against the water. They also seem to have really heavy breathing. I added these splishy splashes later in Kinolangdanzel's existence. And there's this sort of thin layer of waters, like ankle deep. I like those. I like these splashies. And there's only a few rooms that have that water. So, this is the hard part of Kinolangdanzel. The mini-boss Gauntlet. So you start with this one. It's a Redead Knight. So be very careful. Try to get as much damage as you can off of them before they know that you're there. If you have any staggering weapons, use those. I'm going to try to shoot it from afar. It used to be that you had to fight this and another Redead, but I kind of scaled that back. So we're going to try to take this thing down. There we go. Doing pretty good. Alright. Oh, yeah, we got like half of its health out of the way. So it will come up and it'll hit me, and it uses a unique Stalfos Greatsword that is very strong. You can see it's ravaging my stamina and my magicka. But fortunately, I take it out pretty quick. That took me down quite a bit with only like 3 hits. So we're gonna take a little nap. You can see all of my stats going crazy over there. Life ravaging. Really, really rough. And I think you can break that enchantment off. So that's a unique enchantment that you can apply to weapons. Very heavily poisoned. Caring too much to be able to run. Gonna have to drop some stuff. Gonna switch that to number 1. And here's the Redead room, and if you look at the edges you can see Summon Redead, Spell Tome, which is very useful. Because not only will a summoned Redead paralyze enemies, it will get paralyzed by Redeads, assuming that they target it first. Alright, next room is the Skulltula Room. Pretty much all the enemies that you've encountered have their own mini-boss variants. In the enemies that you've encountered in Kinolangdanzel. It's Goma! And she's just kind of chilling up there. We're going to take out that spider first. Oh, I missed. Alright. Goma is pretty high level. Giant Skulltula. And we're going to try to poison her. Since she's one of the few living things in this dungeon, she can actually be poisoned. And what is her level? 30. See, all the mini-bosses are 30. That one Darknut had no right being 40. Lots of stuff. Gold Skulltula tokens. Staff of Skulltula, which summons Skulltulas. That's pretty good. You can get one here, and I think you can get one at the Spider House table. There's a white gold Skulltula. That is rare. And we're going to level up. Okay, the egg sacs always carry Skulltula eggs, but they also have a chance of having a Skulltula hatchling, which you can use as a scroll, sort of like the Dragonborn spiders. Oh look, here's some right now. And when you kill them, they drop pods, and then you can use those pods to, I think, resurrect them using the Song of Healing at an ancient enchanter. They're always intact. The system for damaging them, I didn't want to get into that. There's a Skulltula spell tome, and oh, this lever. This lever does something interesting. It actually will sort of react like this. There we go. It'll shoot flames. The idea is there used to be a lamp there, and it's gotten taken down, so now the mechanism shoots out flames like that. And so you can damage Goma if you run over to that lever and pull it. Okay, so the next one is actually the hardest mini-boss in Kinolangdanzel, and you'll see exactly why. The next one is the Stalfos Knight, and he is not easy. We'll take out these guys first. One of them had an Armos Targe, one of them had a Stalfos Iron Shield, which is really nice. So we're gonna just kind of take a peek at all this junk. So far, is good. Okay, Stalfos Knight. He has the Skull Hammer, which is basically a two-handed Megaton Hammer, and he hits really hard, and he can also stun lock you, which I think I actually get stun locked when I fight him. He also has a Stall Hound, which is kind of a distraction. So, bang. So far he hasn't stun locked me, but then he locks me here. I get paralyzed. And then I think he knocks me down. Yeah, he knocks me down. So he can knock you down, he can paralyze you. So you just have to whittle him away bit by bit. Make sure you have plenty of healing items. And it's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating, but I kind of want to keep it this way. Okay, he's down. And the Skull Hammer, hoo boy. Thing weighs a ton, but it hits like a truck. 10% chance to paralyze for 3 seconds, and does 40 points of stamina damage, and also has a knockback. Power attacks have a higher chance of paralyze, which is why he was able to stun lock me like that. And then he has the Summon Stalfos, Summon Stall-tiled spell tomes. Here's his room. There's not much else in here except that weird crystal, which we'll get to. And now it's on to the Darknut Room. And this Darknut is level 25, which is odd. He should be higher. He shouldn't be so low. I think his minimum level is 25, and he levels with you. So I definitely need to tweak that. Yeah, he levels with you. See, he should be minimum 30 or something. There's the Darknut key. Each one has a key. And Do a double check on the sides. Nothing here. No summoning tomes. You get the Darknut spell tome in Itnam's, if I remember correctly. Okay, so we're all done there. There's one more boss. But first we have to get to him. So we're going to open these doors. We're going to fight these Poes. Fight these stall children. There we go. Oh, there's a Hylian Mage. He has an Elden Staff. The Elden Staffs are really cool. Yeah, I like how the Elden weapons turned out. So yeah, the mages will carry robes and like magic equipment, and he had a pretty good setup. He had an Uka thing to resist frost. He had dark robes to increase his magic skills. He had shock resistance, fire resistance. Great combination. So that's another one. Forgotten Mage. We've seen Forgotten Scouts before. We haven't seen a soldier yet, but I think one is coming up. There's one right there. So we've seen all three, which is really, really fortunate. And he has I think a heavy Hylian shield, which is actually 10% bigger than a standard one. Yeah, he has a heavy Hylian shield. And the heavy Hylian armor, which turned out really well. I think that set is one of my most, one of my favorite ones. And then this one's clad in Zora armor and Zora weapons. We can see their Zora equipment there. And the Jade Relic, which I believe is from Cadence of Hyrule. And they had a light Hylian shield. And then in here, there's a couple dwarven spiders. This is like the only area of Kinolangdanzel that's sort of built up. The rest of them weren't as built up. And then there's a secret on top of here. It's a mask. False Majora's mask. Get out of here, stall troop. Oh, I stepped on a black chew that was disguised as oil. Now, those crystals are important. But you'll see why. And actually, there's no real explanation for it. This area... There's lots of items, there's bombs, there's a journal, which is by Alfred Lord Tennyson, All Things Will Die. Oh! Why does it say every heart this May morning? Ah! May does not exist in the Elder Scrolls universe. Oh, dang it. Oh well. Lever. Very important. What am I doing? Oh, I'm reading books. I already read that one. What am I doing? Okay. Oh, turn the lever. And you'll see, oh no, it blocks the way. No, it doesn't. You can just walk around. So now we're going to face the final boss of Kinolangdanzel. Based on Godon from Wind Waker. There's the drawbridge. It took a lot of work to make this area like not cheesable. Because where's the fun in cheesing a boss? you know? So behind here, there's a chest, and in the chest is an ancient core from Breath of the Wild. More to come in the future, but this one is used for upgrading Guardian Weapon. And there will be more to come. I do plan on adding Guardians. Uh-oh. It went back up. These icebergs used to be enemies as well, so this area was not easy. Now, there is a glitch, and I can't figure out how to fix this glitch with the Silver Centurion. That's the name of this boss. The glitch is that if you shoot anywhere but his crotch or his legs, he won't take damage. Which isn't great. So he's level 30 by default. So yeah, aim at his crotch. If you're in Special Edition, aim at his crotch. Legendary, for some reason, you can aim anywhere you want. And I don't know what the difference is. It might have something to do with, like, collision data. But yeah, he hits like a truck. So don't let him physically hit you. That breath weapon, you don't need to worry about it too much. He can't aim it worth a dang. But basically just be careful. Don't let him hit you with his meaty hands. The story with the Silver Centurion is that he was originally like a Hylian automaton, but he fell apart, and the Dwemer found him and rebuilt him. That's why he looks like a Centurion. But he has Godon's face, and he even has a little mustache like Godon did. I also want to give the Silver Centurion custom sounds. Once I figure out how to do that, I want to make him more commanding, more dangerous, you know? I want him to be scarier. I want him to make, like, really horrible noises. Once you defeat him, he'll explode like that. That's actually the same explosion as a bubble, or as a blue nameless. And that's him. And his whole body can be activated. It's just the collision data for, like, weapons, for some reason, doesn't extend to his head. Really annoying. But anyway, he has a ton of loot. Absolute crap ton of loot. The most important things are the Shrine Key, and he also has 3 Dynamo Cores, which I actually might replace, now that I think about it. But yeah, and that's from Spell Discovery, Dino Spell Discovery. But yeah, he has so much. Leveled arrows, gems out the wazoo. So once you get the Shrine Key, definitely check the edges. There are summoning spells on the edges, as usual. And those can actually help against the Silver Centurion himself. So if you come in here, you can grab those right away. That's a good screenshot. Him just, like, reclining like that. That looks really good. I like that. And for some reason my menu locked up. So I can't, like, get back to the... I can't get my UI back. Come on. There's a book. There we go, got it. That's White Wolfos Thrall. So all the ones here are Thralls. I want to rework the Thrall spells in Relics of Hyrule. I kind of want to make them their own thing. Somehow. I don't know how I'll do that, but I do want to make them more reliable. They're not super reliable now, as they are, and I kind of want to change that. There's a lever that you can use to put the drawbridge back down. And now, Kinolangdanzel Shrine. Our reward for defeating the Silver Centurion is first the book. There's a book called Arcane Horizon. And this is actually completely composed from lyrics from Nightwish songs. And then the Ancient Chest, which has a note that hints you toward the ruin on the peak, one with alpenglow. And the gate will only open with a key crafted from the Notes of Time itself. There's the songbook page for Zelda's Lullaby and Ocarina of Respite. And then there's Red Ring. And then here is the Ocarina of Time itself. Very nice. It recently got a redesign to make it look like the original Ocarina of Time. So, in order to open this, you think that you would need Zelda's Lullaby. You just got Zelda's Lullaby, so maybe you need Zelda's Lullaby. You actually don't. Zelda's Lullaby does not work. It actually doesn't work if you have 2 Ocarinas of Time, which I apparently do. There we go. So Zelda's Lullaby will not open these gates. That's not how Zelda's Lullaby works in Relics of Hyrule. You need the Song of Time, which is what that clue was hinting you toward. If you have the Song of Time, then you can use it. Normally, the Ocarina of Time gets locked into a certain song. So, for instance, I used Zelda's Lullaby, and now I'm locked into Zelda's Lullaby. So if I wanted to use the Minuet of Forest, I would have to either activate the Ocarina of Time, which looks amazing. That turned out so well. Or use Ocarina Respite. The Time-Worn energies up at the top left, that's what that's talking about. I am going to rework this system so that it's not so clunky. It's the only thing I could think of at the time, but now I'm going to rework it. Zelda's Lullaby increases skill use, by the way. Okay, so Song of Time. We're going to use the Song of Time. Some songs, like Song of Time, Epona's Song, are immune to that need to switch with Ocarina of Respite. If it's a buff song, then you have to switch it. If it's just a Song of Time or summoning, you don't need to. So we're going to use that. We're going to recharge our energies. We don't need to do that with the Song of Time, but I did it anyway. And Song of Time opens the gate. At some point. But make sure you don't have 2 Ocarinas of Time. Because it won't work. You need 1. There can be only 1. And the hint that it's talking about for the Song of Time, finding Song of Time, is way down there. That's where you can find it. You can see the barrow right there. Floral Host. That's not Relics of Hyrule, so I can just tell you where it is. And for some reason my map is really clear. I can see Morrowind. Well, anyway. That's enough of that. Are we going to play the Song of Time? Enough faffing about. There's a hint that you can use the Song of Time. You can see the block of time. But see, I can only use it if I only have 1 Ocarina. There we go. Now the gate finally opens after I faffed around for too long. There's the block. What the Song of Time does, like I showed you earlier, is it'll enable blocks of time or it'll disable blocks of time. So you can use the Lens of Truth sometimes to see if a block of time could appear. Or just try using the Song of Time. See what happens. We're almost there. Okay. We can see more of those crystals. We can see this door. There's gates like this in Morwidajal and Itnamzand. And there's a blue fairy back here. And they all have these crystals. It almost seems like they erupted or they're anchored in place. And that door doesn't seem to go anywhere. It actually goes to the link between worlds. Which is the topic for another video. Whew! Okay. That is a lot of information. We're going to go up to the top of the tower and open that chest and get the item in there. Whew. And then that'll be the end of the video. Let's see what that looks like at some point. There we go. That brings us to a dry spot that isn't flooded. And we're going to go up to Kinolangdanzel Tower. And then we're going to exit and go to the top of the tower. So, while we're waiting to get there, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will do videos on more Winters on Itnamzan. I'll also do videos on the Link Between Worlds, the Shattered Lands, the Ruptured Towers, and all of that good stuff to help with the through line. And here's the chess.